Good morning, and welcome to Good News for today for Friday, June the 10th. Sorry. My name's Tim,
I'm Nikki.
and our reading for today is taken from Hebrews chapter 3, verses 12 through 15. It's not a very long passage, and it reads as follows. See to it, brothers, that none of you has a sinful, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God, but encourage one another daily as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. We have come to share in Christ if we hold firmly till the end the confidence we had at first. As has been said, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as you did in the rebellion. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Different view today. We thought we'd go outside and enjoy
in
the
the garden,
sunshine.
yeah.
That's right. And so, just short verses, but lots to unfold in there. Encourage one another daily. It's talking to believers, and how do we encourage one another? Well, I think that the good news is an encouragement to me. I'm encouraged by hearing other people's viewpoints and just kind of looking at things a little differently. And you've probably noticed we're all very different. Each good news is different than the last, and I think that's a good thing. Do not let your hearts be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. Well, sin, Satan is a liar, right? And so we can be deceived, and we can be hardened by thinking, well, that's not so bad. You know, there's lots of people who do a lot worse than that and whatever. But they were talking about the Jews, how they had returned to their former beliefs, and it says to remember the confidence we had at first. Do you remember that? Do you remember first becoming a believer and the excitement of that? And we need to return to that. Do not let your hearts be hardened. And hard hearts are referred to a number of times in the Bible. And from what I understand, your heart is hardened when you fail to recognize what God has done for you in the past. That you, and it's easy to forget, isn't it? Even now, I think, you know, we've been in this pandemic for the last 2 and more years, and all of a sudden, it's kind of easy to forget what the pandemic was all about, you know. So and for sure that when the Jews were in the wilderness, and they did forget what God had done for them in the past. So we don't want our hearts to be hardened. And it says, and if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts again. How do I hear his voice? Well, many ways, but certainly I see him in nature. I'm looking outside now and seeing the beauty of God's work. I see God at work in your lives, in the life of the church, and I think of our good news yesterday. Pat Brown said, "Find the need in other people, in the church and in society and in yourself, and ask Christ to fill that need." That really touched me, and when I ask Christ to fill the need, he only asks me to do what I can, and when he blesses it, it's more than enough. And I always remember the feeding of the 5,000. You know, he said to the disciples, well, what have you got? You know, and they gave what they had, which was not enough, but he blessed it, and it was more than enough. So if you remember anything today, remember that if Christ brings something to mind, it's because he wants you to do something about it. And if you feel inadequate, that's great, because you can't do it on your own. Christ has to be the one that does it for you. So that's my good news for today. And I think we'll close with that. Hope you enjoyed the new scenery.
Yes, I think that your sentiments there really don't require anything in addition to that. So I'm going to close in wishing you a very good day, and we'll see you the next time around.
God
Bye
bless.
for now. Bye-bye.